This is Radio Taiwan International.
Welcome to the news on Radio Taiwan International. I'm Phil Laskowski coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. We begin with a look at today's top stories for Thursday, May 7th. Taiwan urges swift passage of defense bill ahead of potential Trump-Xi meeting. Paraguay's president 39-person delegation visit Taiwan for industry cooperation. And Formosa Club, Europe backs Taiwan's rights to visit allies, calls for WHA inclusion. But first, today's top story. Taiwan's presidential office on Thursday urged lawmakers to pass the cabinet's version of a special defense bill before a potential Trump-Xi meeting, citing growing regional security concerns and public support for increased defense spending. Presidential Office spokesperson Karen Kuo said in an interview that joint military exercises by the United States, Japan, and the Philippines, along with ongoing defenses strengthening by Tokyo and Manila, have drawn international attention to whether Taiwan is demonstrating sufficient resolve to bolster its own defense. Kuo stated that nearly 70% of Taiwanese public opinion supports passing defense-related budgets, therefore urging the legislature, regardless of political affiliation, to do its utmost to facilitate this process. She added that opposition proposals totaling $12 billion or $25.4 billion exclude key elements such as drone development and domestic defense industry supply chains. The administration instead supports the cabinet's full $39.6 billion 8-year plan. Kuo urged strengthening national defense should be passed by the legislature as soon as possible. This should not be divided between the KMT and DPP. Everyone should work together to make strengthening national defense a shared goal that we strive for and can successfully achieve. Before the Trump-Xi meeting, we hope that our special national defense bill can be passed smoothly. Paraguay President Santiago Peña arrives in Taiwan this Thursday. Meanwhile, the country's Industry and Commerce Minister Marco Riquelme is leading a delegation focused on key industries from Paraguay, Taiwan's diplomatic ally, this Wednesday through Saturday. Taiwan's Foreign Ministry stated that the delegation includes 39 members spanning 3 major sectors: food processing, technology and energy, and financial investment. The ministry is arranging visits to Taiwanese companies and institutions with potential for cooperation to further facilitate targeted matchmaking and strengthen the Taiwan-Paraguay supply chain, they said. Yan Zhicheng, Director General of the Department of International Cooperation and Economic Affairs, said,
This industrial delegation is made up of 39 business representatives, 19 of whom are food and meat processing companies. To meet Paraguay's needs in expanding its meat and soybean markets, the Diplomatic Allies Prosperity Project is assisting them in connecting with these companies. In addition to arranging specific meetings and discussions, investment briefings are taking place, inviting domestic food processing and food processing equipment companies to participate.
The Foreign Ministry underscored Taiwan and Paraguay's highly complementary industrial cooperation. They said Paraguay possesses abundant agricultural and livestock resources and a stable power supply. Taiwan can add value to the products and expand their sale into international markets with its strength in food processing and supply chain management, the ministry explained. Further cooperation, the ministry said, will deepen bilateral economic and trade relations and improve the well-being of the people of both countries. The European chapter of the Formosa Club held its Unity Summit at the European Parliament on Wednesday, issuing a joint statement backing Taiwan's right to conduct high-level visits to its diplomatic allies free from interference. Taiwan's Deputy Foreign Minister Francois Wu attended as a guest speaker. The statement came in direct response to China's recent efforts to block Taiwan's president from visiting Eswatini, with members opposing any use of overflight rights as a tool to obstruct Taiwanese officials' travel. The statement reaffirmed support for deepening Europe-Taiwan interparliamentary cooperation, Taiwan's meaningful participation in international organizations, and its role as an indispensable strategic hub in the Indo-Pacific. Members highlighted Taiwan's strengths in advanced semiconductors, artificial intelligence, and the drone industry, calling Taiwan a key partner in building trusted, non-red supply chains as Europe works to strengthen its own resilience. The statement also clarified the UN Resolution 2758 does not address Taiwan's status, a position that echoes a 2024 European Parliament resolution, and called for Taiwan's inclusion in the upcoming World Health Assembly. The Unity Summit drew 25 Formosa Club co-chairs and members from 14 countries, including the United Kingdom, France, Germany, and Lithuania, as well as the European Parliament itself.
Taipei launches new designated smoking areas in push for a smoke-free city. Taipei Mayor Jiang Wan'an on Thursday, May 7th, inspected a new negative pressure enclosed smoking area in the Ximen commercial district that was set up under a policy aimed at separating smokers from non-smokers in outdoor public spaces. A total of 183 smoking areas have been established citywide as of April 30th, according to the city government. I think this is an important milestone in Taipei City's push to become a smoke-free city, Jiang told reporters, after he was publicly briefed by city health officials at the glass-walled smoking area. The key to promoting a smoke-free city is doing a good job of separating smokers and non-smokers, Jiang said, adding that non-smokers should be able to walk without suffering from second-hand or third-hand smoke. The mayor said, Taipei has made considerable progress on restricting indoor smoking, but many residents have told the city they are still affected by smoke while walking outdoors. Around 80% of residents support setting up designated smoking areas, Jiang added, citing a survey conducted by the city government last year. The Taipei Health Department said in a news release that Ximen will become fully smoke-free starting June 1st, with inspections set to begin next month. Under the Tobacco Hazards Prevention Act, people who smoke in designated non-smoking areas may be fined up to 10,000 Taiwan dollars. That's around $319 US. This is James Thompson with Radio Taiwan International, reporting in Taipei.
Vice President Xiao Bikim spoke regarding Taiwanese diplomacy, national security, the defense budget, and cross-trade relations in an episode of Mirror's TV A-List Talk that aired this Tuesday. Xiao commented on President Lai Ching-te's trip to Taiwan's ally Eswatini, made possible by bypassing China's blockade through the so-called arrive then announce model. Xiao stated that Taiwan has faced immense pressure for many years, but it still has the desire to become friends with the world, noting that Lai has considered various options to maintain relations with diplomatic allies even in the face of difficulties. The vice president said,
All kinds of different plans and options are being evaluated rigorously and prudently from the president's perspective. When opportunities arise, we need to seize them.
In response to external criticism calling the cabinet's proposed $39.84 billion special defense budget a blank check, Xiao used an analogy of installing metal bars on windows. She explained that installing iron bars isn't about having too much money or about aesthetics, but rather about making it more difficult for intruders. Xiao said Taiwan must build its own strength to avoid becoming a pawn in international geopolitics and noted that arms purchases are a means of building the strength. President Lai has repeatedly emphasized that a war is not an option, Xiao said, and war can only be prevented with preparation. The vice president said the defense budget, allocated over 8 years, would average approximately $192 per person. She said some people may think spending this money a year on defense is too expensive, but for many, life is priceless. Xiao emphasized that the 8-year special defense budget was proposed after reviewing potential defense risks over the next 3, 5, and 10 years, which she said truly reflects the principle that life is priceless. Taiwan's economic minister Gong Ming-shin announced Wednesday that 20 Taiwanese semiconductor and AI server companies have expressed interest in investing in the United States with a preliminary total of $35 billion, excluding TSMC's existing U.S. commitments. The figure was disclosed at a U.S.-Taiwan supply chain press conference in Washington, attended by Minister Gong, National Development Council Minister Yan Junxian, and Taiwan's representative to the U.S., Alexander Yue. Minister Gong signed a memorandum of understanding with the Taiwan Electrical and Electronic Manufacturers Association to jointly identify suitable locations for Taiwanese industrial parks in the United States. Companies expressing interest include UMC, Global Wafers, Wind Semiconductors, Foxconn, Quanta Computer, Wistron, and Compal Electronics, among others. Taiwan led all nations at this year's Select USA Investment Summit with 113 participating firms. Minister Ye separately met with senior U.S. officials to discuss AI cooperation and visited TSMC's construction site in Arizona. He outlined Taiwan's plans for a financing guarantee mechanism to support Taiwanese firms investing in the U.S. while encouraging American companies to expand investment in Taiwan's 5 trusted industries and AI infrastructure programs. Thanks for joining me for the news. I'm Phil Laskowski. Stay tuned for another 50 minutes of English language features brought to you by Radio Taiwan International.